Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Investors Playbook Live. You have, as always, your co-host Deshaun and Cornell. You good, bro?
Yeah, I'm great.
Oh, okay, cool. As always, you have your co-host Deshaun and Cornell. And today we're coming at you with more investment, financial topics, conversation. We got to talk about what happened to Bitcoin first and foremost, right? If you are touching the market at all, if you watch the news or even if you like are on Instagram, you've probably seen something mention Bitcoin dropping about 20K, right? Going from 124,000 all the way down to 105 in the span of like 8 days. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the tech pump fake that happened, because as we know, on Friday, not this past Friday, but on the 10th, when Trump first mentioned the 100% tariffs, the stock market went skydiving. And since then, it's just been slowly getting its wings and getting its elevation back up. So it's interesting to see how fast we react to the news. And I won't even say the news. I'll say his news, right? How fast we react to his tweets, his the information that he puts out there. So we're gonna dive into that. And then of course, we're just gonna talk about that subject as a whole, right? Tariffs and what they're doing, how they're affecting the stock market and what it could look like moving forward. So diving into it, man, bruh, Bitcoin. Cornell, you gotta tell me. I know you are heavily invested in Bitcoin. Did that freak you out at all?
Not at all, bro. Not at all. I think at this point I'm kind of like numb to all the ups and downs. I feel like if you really believe in an investment, you don't really panic. You love seeing stuff like that, and I think that that's the time for opportunity. Like this
Mm,
is the time where you can stack up, accumulate more shares, or if you're on the riskier side, and I don't advise anyone to do this, but you could put some options, get some option contracts, you know,
yeah.
and put them far enough out to where you can reap the benefits of that price returning to what it once was.
Hmm.
How do you feel about Bitcoin diving like that, man?
I think it's normal, right? We're not going to see Bitcoin constantly go up. We haven't seen it constantly go up. It always has some type of pullback, right? It's normal for Bitcoin to do that. I think that the the movement that it did is on point. It's on par with everything that it has been doing. We've seen it get to 102,000 and 105,000 and jump all the way back down to 75, right? This is not new news. This is just repeating the cycle, right? Rinse and repeat. Bitcoin has dropped over 20,000 in a very short amount of time. So, yeah, it's on brand. You feel me?
I kind of think like with all this now institutional backing and government backing, I actually thought there was going to be less of pullbacks like this because typically a 20% pullback is a lot, bro.
It is.
It's a
It
lot.
is a
That was
lot.
almost 20%, and
Yeah.
that's what prompted me to buy more. To be honest,
Hmm. I think there's definitely a wider safety net for Bitcoin. There's a stronger safety net. It's not just random investors or it's like institutional government backed investors,
hmm
businesses who need Bitcoin to survive, right? Because of how much they've invested in this. So I agree with you. I don't think that they will let I would think that they will let Bitcoin just crash indefinitely, like just slide all the way too far down. They're going to come in and save it. So
I don't
I
think it's
imagine
point.
at this point, yeah, I mean, it's wrapped up in um, like the spot ETFs. It's probably wrapped up in people's retirement accounts. So it's yeah, it's probably is not gonna just go. It's not gonna get eradicated. Not overnight. You know what I mean? So yeah. So
For
yeah,
sure.
bro.
So what do you? So what is your plan? Do you plan to invest in Bitcoin now that it's down, or what?
I mean, I am going to probably continue investing in the. I won't even say. Oh, yeah, I guess it would be altcoins like what is it called? Ethereum, ETH, and XRP. You feel me? So, yeah, I'm going to invest in ETH, XRP, and if anything, just continue investing in those spot ETFs of Bitcoin. But Bitcoin, the asset itself, I can't hold you, man. I think that's too far gone. Maybe an option, like you said, but outside of that,
You think it's too far gone? Even though like people are speculating Bitcoin to get to like $1 million, bro.
I believe it.
And my thing is, when they say it at first, it sounds crazy, but if you think about it, it makes sense because as the dollar continues to decline, like what's gonna happen?
You mean as far as the value of Bitcoin increasing as the
Yeah.
dollar goes down? Yeah, that's true. Something else that is like becoming a more of a player is gold too. I know that wasn't like on the list of things that I mentioned we were going to talk about, but gold is kind of, I don't know, it's not stopping. You know what I mean? I remember when I first started like trading, my trading journey, like back in, I don't know, December, January, and the price of MGC was like at 2000 or like 2200. Now that joint is at like 4200. So I don't know what gold is also going to play in the price of the dollar or the price of Bitcoin. But I think that that's a factor that you have to kind of consider when you're talking about comparing Bitcoin to the dollar. You got to think about its comparison, maybe not its direct comparison to gold, but how the dollar is treating gold as well and gold's value. Just, I don't know. That's something that I've been thinking about as far as Bitcoin kind of being classified as digital gold. You've heard that before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have looked at gold. I think it's beating the SPY, so I think that it's doing great. You feel
yeah,
me? In the last 5 years, gold is up 124%, and I think
hmm,
SPY is actually up 92%.
yeah, yeah.
So
That's a lot.
you're right. It's doing well.
Yeah,
And then QQQ over the past 5 years is up 112, so it's beating technology also.
yeah. And you see what I'm saying? But and not that people aren't talking about gold, but it's not getting the same amount of, I guess, news attention because it's not as exciting as these companies that are working with AI and how they're booming. Gold is just gold. So
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. But yeah. So
So
what do
what
you
do you
think is
think?
gonna happen with Bitcoin? Yeah, I think he's probably about to ask the same question. It dropped to 104, and we already seeing it back up to 108,000. Right? You think the drop is done? Or is it like a weekend cool down and it might see some more red? What do you think?
I think it's possible for the drop to not be completely done. I don't think that it's a bad time to accumulate more Bitcoin right now, though, because I know it hasn't hit 105 in a minute. It's been hovering
Hmm.
around from like 109 to the 120 in those areas. So I I personally think that this is a great time to buy, and I definitely bought some Bitcoin on what was that, Friday?
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely did it.
yeah. I mean, you bought it right when it was at the bottom, as far as so far, right? So
Yeah,
that
so
sounds like
far,
a good play. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sounds like a good play.
so far I'm up.
Nice. Well, we're gonna see what happens next week. Market turns back on Monday, and your options are going to reflect. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
valuation change. So yeah, it's pretty exciting, bro.
So what do you think
Pretty.
about these tariffs, man? I know that there was news that Trump said that he knows that his tariffs are not sustainable with China,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So how do you feel about that? How what do you think that he's trying to do? How's he maneuvering this?
I have no idea what he's trying to do, but right now what's happening is his tariffs are creating uncertainty in business and supply chain and um, basically how companies are operating, right? If this continues, we're going to see a change in um, the earnings of some companies because the prices of things are going to change. You're going to see a lot of investor sentiment either kind of go away because of the uncertainty. We saw a slight, well, not even slight. Well, yeah, it was slight. We saw that slight dip on the 10th of October when he mentioned the 100% tariffs and how far it dropped the SPY, the QQQ, the stock market. But then we saw his statement mentioning that actually it might not, either said something like it's not that I'm going to impose 100% tariffs or we have a good trading relationship. It was something that he mentioned on Sunday, like 2 days later. And then the market was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I guess he was just kidding. And
Yeah.
then Monday through Friday, the market just climbed literally right back up to after where it fell. So it goes to show you how intense and how powerful a tweet from Trump can actually affect the market. But his actual policies, I think those are going to take a lot longer to reflect changes in the market because the companies have to feel the the price change when it comes to them getting pieces of equipment from overseas. Right now, they're still using stuff that's here, right? So once they start feeling the effects of the tariffs, that's going to start reflecting in the earnings. It's going to start messing with the investor sentiment. Not to mention, the government is still shut down, so that is a bind on how the government spending is going to even go. Like that hasn't been passed yet, right? So now
Mhm.
money is tied up there. You have tariffs that are changing how companies are going to be spending their money. I don't know. I think it's definitely going to affect investor sentiment, but it really just depends on how companies navigate and if they can still come out on top and say our earnings are still going to be great regardless of the effects of tariffs. It's just, yeah. I mean, the stock market has been so strong lately. If anything, I would imagine that Trump is trying to, what feels like, bring the market down a little bit, you know, by throwing all these wrenches and kind of making it sound doomsday-ish.
It
100% tariff sounds crazy, bro. Come on.
it does. Sometimes I do get that notion that it's like maybe he's doing this on purpose. That
Mm-hmm.
could be the only reason why he says something like this. Because 100% is OD. Like after a certain point, does it even matter like what the tariff is? Because you stop people from buying whatever it is that the tariff is on. No one's gonna
Right.
buy anything at 100%.
Exactly. Now you're
Even
just
eighty
you're
percent,
just
maybe not even
blocking
fifty
it.
percent. Like,
Right. It becomes ridiculous. So definitely
yeah,
going to
so
be a change in how they have to operate their business. If they're primarily giving us, if they're primarily using overseas items and purchasing anything from overseas, they just have to change how they maneuver that because, yeah, the 100% tariffs is not sustainable. They'll literally
yeah,
just go find another way to,
and he said that, and
yeah.
and he definitely said that. So my thing is, I'm hoping that in this, I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of back and forth with us and China. I'm hoping that we get more clarity this upcoming week. And you're right, the stock market has been extremely strong, and I think that's out of anything that's going on. I think that's what worries me the most
Hmm.
because this is with everything that's going on and how high up our market is. Yeah, it's a little scary, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So when I see little pullbacks, that's when I get happy, and that's when I start buying in more.
Hmm. Did that Bitcoin drop have an explanation? Is it tied into tariffs and trade?
I think people assume, like everyone thinks that they know why the market drops, but I think it's just people putting a trying to put a reason to it. I don't think anybody
Mm.
ever really knows.
Yeah. Yeah, true. It
That's
was just no telling. Someone just decided to cash out on all that crypto. It could be something as simple as that. someone that was like, you know what? I'm about to go YOLO. I'm about to sell, I don't know, 100 of my Bitcoin. And my thing is, you selling 100 Bitcoin, or I guess like, um, yeah, cashing out 100 Bitcoin. That's still someone else purchasing it, right? Purchasing the that same Bitcoin. No, like if you're selling Bitcoin, someone has to be buying it, right?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but
Yeah, I got you.
yeah,
Yeah, just be wondering like, what is it that makes Bitcoin itself go down? Because it's not a business per se. It doesn't have a
I think
rap
it's
sheet.
so I don't think that whenever you sell, someone's buying. I think it's probably like held in like
Yeah.
a yeah.
Okay. So not like a share.
And I don't
Gotcha.
think that's how it is with shares either. I think if people sell, it's like a outstanding share. I don't know. We'll look into it.
Yeah, we will. But yeah, like you said, I think people are trying to tie all these together. Trump talk about tariffs. I think that was directly related to tech, though. We saw that. Like he said it on Friday, and the stock market dropped. There was a clear correlation with that. And then he redacted to some degree by Sunday, and then Monday the stock market rose. Now the crypto one, yeah, I don't know if that's related to the same thing, but like you said, people are saying that it might be. No real way to determine that. We don't know for sure. Uh, but it is all happening around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So, of course, the lesson here is no matter what, get off the sidelines. All right. Whether you are afraid of the Bitcoin shakeup, Bitcoin dropping 20K almost. What is that, like 16% or something like that?
uh,
Uh,
something like
30.
that.
So whether you are afraid of that or if you're holding Bitcoin, I'm curious to know if people sold when they start seeing it drop too. Uh, those paper hands. No, I'm kidding. You got to do
Yeah,
whatever you feel is safe for you.
for sure.
Yeah,
Just don't. I don't know. I feel like if it's something you believe in, you shouldn't sell. Because my
yeah,
thing is, when you sell, when things decrease, you're locking in those losses. Like I can see if you're like in a penny stock or something like that, or an option. Yeah, sometimes you're gonna have to cut your losses. But if you're in stuff like Microsoft, like the big tech names. And for my belief, Bitcoin, if you don't believe in Bitcoin, I think you shouldn't even be in it, to be honest. But if you believe in it, when it drops, that's the time to buy more because when it comes back, you're going to be even better. So just think about that.
yeah, exactly. And just constantly watch what's happening, right? Like you have to pay attention um, to how the government, how Trump, how international talks, how all that is affecting the stock market. Opportunities can come from you just simply watching the stock market or watching I won't even say the news, but watching financial news and financial information. Because a lot of this can affect you. Right now, the government is shut down because they cannot come to a decision in regards to healthcare, which could affect a lot of people with whatever decision they come out with, right? It could affect a lot of people. So
Yeah.
make sure you understand how the potential outcome could affect you. Start preparing for it now. Um, yeah, that's the goal. Keep moving forward. Get off the sidelines. You already know how we do over here. So yeah, man,
All right.
you
Another
good?
one of those. I'm great. That's it.
Positive, bro. Positive. We good with it. All right, y'all. Well, look, another one in the books. As always, we appreciate you all tuning in. It was some very some very lively people in the chat today. Appreciate y'all too. But yeah, we will catch you all next week with more financial news, topics, and information. Peace.
For sure.